All right, so thanks for joining me on our interview series, Little Gym Big Heart. I'm here with Joe Riggio, co-owner of Varsity House Gym in Orangeburg, New York, as well as the rapidly growing Varsity House personal training, small group personal training concept in the Jersey area. So, Joe, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, man. I'm excited to be here. Always a pleasure.
Yeah. So, listen, I like to keep these episodes very, very tactical. I don't want to get too far into the weeds with your birth story and your upbringing. They can listen to the Business of Strength podcast to learn more
Yes.
about that. But why don't you give us a 10-second overview of who you are, how you ended up in the position that you're in?
Sure. I mean, just like most people, passionate about training, sports, kind of found the gym as a kid. It was really like the only, I played a lot of sports, but it was the only thing that I really gravitated towards, kind of like martial arts or track, where you're really singularly focused on improving a skill set. Like that's like the outcome is an outcome-based goal, like to lift more weights, to get bigger muscles or whatever, where like in track, you're trying to reduce your times or improve a jump or something like that. So I just really fell in love with that singularity of it and being like it was on me, the nutrition, the training, and so forth. So I found myself joining the gym at a young age and really just loved that environment. And as I went through college and went to school, I was thinking physical therapy, orthopedics. I had really good grades. So, the social pressure from my family was kind of like, you should be a doctor, you should go into research science and stuff like that, or maybe a physical therapy. My next door neighbor was a physical therapist, and she had gotten me a job personal training when I was 19 years old with another person, right? And so I was already personal training people. I was thinking orthopedics, physical therapy school and stuff like that. But my life always just kind of came back to the gym, and I always just found myself at home and always loved the environment and loved being with the, let's call it the locker room kind of environment that was always the gym. And after college, I did my master's and my degrees in molecular biology. So I was kind of like a science nerd and doing research and stuff like that. And I don't know, I decided to maybe go do some PhD interviews. And I was thinking, because after doing your master's, I had graduated like with really like high honors and so forth. And I was like, man, I don't know, maybe this research thing is pretty cool. I saw some of the professors, and for those of you who don't know, like a professor is like 16 hours a week is like full time, right? So you get 16 hours of teaching and 8 hours of research time, or it's 16 hours of research and 8 hours of teaching. It's one or the other, and that's a full-time $150,000 a year salary and up, right? So I was like, that sounds cool. We could do that, right? For working 100 and 200 days a year. And so I started interviewing for PhD programs, and I just had like a meltdown. I was like, dude, I don't want to do this. They're like telling me it's going to take another 5 to 7 years to get a PhD, and I was already in my late 20s, mid to late 20s. I don't come from money, so I was like, I'm broke as shit. Like my family's broke as shit. Like I got to go out and make some money. So I started training people, and I started my first LLC, which was called Fit Dynamics, Sport Dynamics, right? And I used to basically train people in their homes, and or I would train their kids like in their backyard at the park or whatever, right? And I was literally going around with my car with my shit in the trunk, and I would come out with my bag of goods. And then, when I had the first opportunity through a client, it's kind of like, the training
Yep.
business is all a relationship and connection business. I had a great client who knew a friend who owned a building who had a dead space that they couldn't really use. He partnered me up with another guy that was doing basketball skills and drills. He said, "Why don't you guys share the space? You take half, you take half." He's like, "I took 1,200 square feet. He took 1,200 square feet." It was basically like 40, 30 by 40 and 30 by 40 on one side. He had snap court basketballs, and I had two racks and a platform, and away we went. And that was '06. In walked Danny Goods, my longtime business partner, who at that time was one of my clients, and I was training him. And we just had a great relationship, man. Dan, as you know, Dan and yourself, a little older, a little wiser than maybe I was at that age, right? And they had like he always had a little bit more entrepreneurial kind of mindset at a younger age. He grew up in an area where there was more of that, and we just kind of hit it off. And I told him if he brought me kids, I'd pay him money. And he started dropping off truckloads of kids, with his brothers. I'm get in here and train you bunch of pansies, right? He would like yell at his brother and all his little friends. And then when he graduated college, we decided to go into business together, and that was '09. So from '09, so we've been working together since '06. We've been business partners since '09. And we built our headquarters here in 2013, opened up in 2014. We've been here 10 years this year. And then in the last couple of years, like you said, we started opening up a series of smaller custom personal training studios. And then, with the business of strength and all those things combined, Dan and I have our hands in a few different pots. And, we have, for all intents and purposes, had an amazing partnership and an amazing ride. And I was just talking to him on the way up here and just kind of reminiscing a little bit about some of the stuff that we've done together. And I always feel like, even at 48 years old, after 18 years of being partners in a sense with Dan and doing the gym game for almost 30 years now, that I feel like I'm just getting started. Like there's so many, I'm so excited to learn. I meet guys like yourself, Devin, and I don't want to say young bucks because you're not young, but you're younger than me. And I get so energized and excited about some of the ideas that you guys have, passed down to us and some of the things that you have. So, I feel like we're really just hitting our stride at Varsity House, and we're excited. We've built an amazing. This year has been creating a lot of processes and systems and people to have another exponential growth here in 25. So that's where we're at right now, and things are looking pretty good going into the, last 30 days of the month.
All right, listen, man. A little longer than 10-second overview, but I
I can't do
expected that.
10 seconds.
I budgeted that for this very reason that you got a long backstory with a lot of value to add. It's funny you partnered with Dan Goodman. I'll be honest. I think you guys are the only partnership that I've seen be very successful. And I don't say that like I don't have a knock on any partnerships, but
Sure.
I've just from the very beginning, we were in mastermind groups and coaching groups, a lot of people that established partnerships, and it just never seemed to go well or as well as it could have gone.
Yep.
One person eventually wanted to be the money guy and got a real estate job. People just couldn't agree on things. There were tensions, some family issues. So I think you guys have such an unbelievable way to balance each other out. Like you are the visionary idea guy, and I want to touch on where I want to
Hmm.
take this conversation. And Dan is just fucking even keel. Like
Yes.
I can always rely on Dan to be like a very steady voice of reason, very
100%.
calm. Like he's very he thinks through things, unlike people like yourself and me. But we need those people in our lives.
Correct.
So what I thought another thing was interesting. So I grew up. My dad was a scientist. I always had a knack for biology.
Mm.
I learned the first time at this underground strength con that you had a master's in molecular biology, and it
Yeah.
really I actually was thinking about it, and I was reminded of it right now when you said it. I think there is a very strong correlation of people that have a knack and magnetism towards science and like things like biology and systems and how they intertwine
Hmm.
and marketing. And that's what
Yes.
I think in your business, you're the CMO, the chief marketing officer, the
Correct.
chief money making officer at Varsity House companies.
Hmm.
And I imagine because you and I have very similar, like we're both visionaries. We both are idea guys.
Yep.
So you're an unbelievable marketer. Uh, Copywriting. I know you've gone through a lot of training.
Sure.
You guys blow it up. I mean, you guys have shared campaigns with me that have been massively successful. So, I mean, I would love to start and just talk about what are the marketing tactics or things that everybody needs to be doing in their fitness business, um, whether it's in 2025 or in their stage of business, because you've got them all. You've got a very veteran, mature business that over $1 million a year, close to max capacity.
Yep.
Uh, you also have, these up and coming gyms that it's like you need to pour gasoline on launch. You've got to sell high, like 1 to 2 memberships a week on high
Hmm.
ticket sales. So, what advice would you give to another gym owner in where they need to spend their focus on marketing?
Well, so obviously, to lay a foundation, the skill of marketing is a skill that anybody can learn. Now, obviously, maybe there are certain, archetypes to being better or more predisposed to being better at certain things, just like there's going to be people who are naturally better salespeople, better communicators and so forth like that, right? Um, People that are more inclined to like financial literacy and all those types of things, right? So but I think it's a skill that you can learn, right? So the first start of the process is seeking out some of the people in the industry and with beyond the industry who are the top marketers, the Jay
Well, let me stop
Abrahams.
you really quick
Yeah,
because I want
sure.
to zoom out even further. So let me zoom out even further. So we've interviewed marketing people for gyms, people that have marketing degrees, and they
Yes.
never come in with the requisite knowledge.
Yes.
So what is the marketing that we need in these businesses? Because it is not advertising. It is not
No,
what you learn in school. You're not knocking schools. It's not what you fucking learn in school. So what
no.
is the marketing that you need to run a good business, a gym business?
It's copywriting and connecting with the inner emotions of your clientele. Fitness is emotional. Fitness is not selling sneakers. Sneakers are not emotional.
Right.
Sneakers are branding, lifestyle, status, right? And fitness is emotional because fitness is tied to social and physical habit setting, right? So when somebody is out of shape and overweight, there is a realization of having to look in the mirror and maybe stop going to Pizza Fridays, put down the bottle of wine or the six pack of beer on the weekends. Maybe your friend circle is not the best set of influences. A lot of times it's your own family, right? I see many times right in the same household where one person wants to get on a fitness journey and the other person is almost purposely sabotaging it because they
Yeah.
don't want to be on that journey. So because of those things, the way in which you speak to people is not advertising. It's not like putting up a picture of Michael Jordan dunking a basketball and selling a pair of Jordan sneakers, which like
Right.
kids all over could run to. It's, hey, you know, these are the things you need to do to help. And it's like showing people a pathway to help themselves. I always talk about, and you've heard me talk about this before, and I love the movie, but a lot of people were like, it wasn't the best movie. But I love the movie Inception with Leonardo DiCaprio. And it was about, to give context to anybody who's listening, they got to go into your subconscious mind, into your dream world, and plant an idea. The marketing for the gyms needs to be this subconscious planting of an idea to where people have this aha moment that says to them, I can do that. Yeah, I think I could do that. And it's like whether that's creating a better structure around food or getting your ass to the gym 12 times a month for a year and making a commitment to that. I always tell everybody, hey, you get here 150 times a year for a decade, you will be the fittest person in your circle by a long shot.
Yeah.
And what sounds easy to me, to somebody else, it's carving out that complexity of time. It's letting moms and dads know that working on your fitness isn't taking time away from your family. It's actually pouring time back into your family because maybe it takes away 3 hours of your week right now. And that might seem like a lot, but it could give you back 10 years with your family from 60 to 70 instead of being sick and unhealthy, as we were just talking about, right? Right. It give you back 10 years. So a lot of it is really emotional marketing and speaking to people in a certain way and also not coming off like, for lack of a better term, being a dick, right? Like because
Yeah.
fitness is sensitive to some people, and if you say things a certain way, you can really piss people off. So, a lot of times the big corporate marketers, the Fortune 500 marketers, the guys who have the master's degree in corporate marketing, that's more branding and advertising. And there is a place for that in the gym world, right? You want to like Gage, engage personal training, great brand, great logo, great catchphrases. But you could have all that shit and have the best branding in the world and literally be speaking to a wall because you're not
Right.
communicating with people.
Yeah. And I think, in this essence, because there's a lot of, so when it comes to successful marketing for gyms, I can
Mhm.
just give my take because some people spend their time doing the wrong things, even if they're doing things that are speaking to the emotion or deeply understanding the target market. But if
Mhm.
they're just like writing blogs for their website, right? And they're like, that's how I started. Like
Yep.
I was like, I'm gonna write blogs and people are just gonna magically show up on my website and read it. And I was a good writer. Like I always been a pretty good writer. And I was like, that's my thing. It's like I checked the marketing box because I wrote a blog and I shared it on my personal Facebook page that nobody fucking read. But where would you direct their efforts to take that idea? All right, so they understand I got to connect with the audience. I've got to develop this message that speaks to the emotion. I've got to understand copywriting. Like, where do you direct that energy to have the highest return on investment and return on time?
The highest return on investment is 100% writing. That's a fact. If you can write long form in the form of either emails or blogs, that is your marketing for all the other short forms that you might want to have. And so, like my process, and similar to yours, is for the last literally since 2006, I had at least one monthly newsletter or blog
Yeah.
post that we've posted. Now it's, could be four, five, six, seven, eight, 10 emails a week sometimes, right? Depending on how hard I'm marketing. But I always started with that long form. And in the past, it used to be like a newsletter, so it was very long, right? It had a lot of different antidotes. Might have a nutrition piece, might have a training piece, might have like health and like wellness
Yeah.
stuff or like recipes and shit like that, right? But that long form, you could take the long form writing, and then you could cut that up into pieces for your social media. You could turn that same long form idea into a podcast just like this,
Yep.
right? You can take that same thing and do a YouTube video of it. And, so there's different platforms with different length of exposure, short reels, longer post on Facebook, very long post on YouTube, a local podcast where you're just speaking. And when you think about repurposing content, it all starts with putting the idea out on paper. And that's where I've always started with it. And if you're somebody who doesn't like to write, and me and you have done this before and we do this actively, if speaking to your phone in the car is easier for you, then do that and speak your ideas out and have them transcribed onto words. There's a million programs that do that. And start with that, but get the ideas out of your head. So that's where I always start. When I come up with an idea, it's like, hey, we're sitting here planning our 2025 campaigns and what we want to do and kind of some of the big ticket items we want to hit on for New Year's. It's what's the end goal? I have these, let's call it six major initiatives that we're going to hammer on throughout the year. New Year's, transformations, summer slim down, whatever it is, right? We're going to do we're going to do these initiatives. I look at the outcome based. What do I want to happen with this? What do I want people to get out of this? And it's not how many do I want to sell? It's what do people get from doing this program, right? So if let's say it's a new year new, you get to transform your fitness. You get to create habits that last a lifetime. You get to influence your family and community positively, right? You get to finally stop the rat race of making stupid resolutions that don't work, right? So you get all those things out in your head and you kind of come up with the why that people would want to do this thing. And then I work backwards to the deliverables. Okay, great. Now, what do I give them that they're going to be able to achieve those things with? So it's outcome Y for the people, the deliverables that I have, right? That these are the products and services that we can give them and the tools that we can give them that they can use. And then I just fill in the blanks. And then a lot of it is speaking to the pain. Hey, have you had trouble with making long-term commitments to your fitness? Well, great. At Varsity House, you get an accountability coach, and we're literally going to call you and pester you to show up to your sessions. And a lot of people need that, right? So you think about it like a FAQ section on a website or something like that. You want to answer all the judgments and questions and or let's call those roadblocks that people are going to have in the process.
Well, so we're going to fuck some people up here because we have some tactics to share out of this. So what you're talking about is in the content marketing world, they call it the hub and spoke model.
Yes.
And if anybody's listening to this, what he's saying is he creates like a really fucking good piece of content, whether it's like a long form article, whether it's like a playbook or a video series. So I'll give an example that we've used in the past. So I filmed I did an hour-long interview with Dr. Stacy Sims. So she's the foremost expert in postmenopausal like performance. So women, in their 50s, how to maintain muscle and lose fat, and that's very in line with our target market. Over 50 women that want to lose fat. I filmed an interview on my YouTube, and it was an hour long. I broke it out into like five to seven micro clips that are like 3 to 5 minutes long. One's on supplements, one's on protein intake, one's on diet, best training, whatever. And then everything funnels. That's the hub, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every micro piece of content, every email you write is a little bit of that info, and it funnels to that long form video,
Yes.
right? So I can write 10 emails that are like, hey, did you know that women over 50 should be taking creatine? I learned, a million things about, training women over 50 right here in this video. Click here to learn more. And if you
Yep.
embed that video on, say, a landing page, that you can have a pop-up that says, do you want to work with the foremost expert in people over 50? Like, that's how you capitalize on that one piece of content. So anybody listening, like think about, and what I did, and it was kind of the cheap and easy way, is I stole credibility. Like I am not the expert on postmenopause, but
Yeah.
I paid her to do this interview. I paid her $2,000 for an hour interview. Probably could have gotten a
Hmm.
little bit less, but I reached out and I was like, hey, you've got a fucking million followers. You speak to my audience. I did an hour long interview. My big regret is the audio and video is horrible quality, but all those clips have generated well over 100,000 views on my YouTube. We've spun that into ebooks. We've spun that into meal plans. We've spun it into training plans. We've run, postmenopausal like specialty hit training programs, all based on the credibility that I stole from Dr. Stacy Sims. Thank you very much. And now I've got literally, if I want to like, hey, January is we're going to focus on this target market. I've got 50 pieces of content, 50 marketing materials that are already built that I can
Yes.
reuse every single year.
Like if for me, and I've sent you some of our campaigns, we've shared a bunch of campaigns together. It always starts with a one pager. And the one pager is the who, what, where, when, why, how. I literally create a one pager that literally has who, what, where, who we selling it to, you know, middle-aged women 50 plus, right? Heading into menopause for the
Yep.
like the topic you're talking about, right? What, you know, a a 4 week, postmenopausal training program that guarantees, improved energy, muscle building, and strength, right? You know, why, right? And why do they need this, right? And you go list that could be 50 things. It could be all the reasons why, right? So we start with that one pager, and then I just start writing, man. And I come up with some ideas. I might, like you said, I might ask a few people that are more pertinent on the topic. I look to a lot of trash magazines and
Yeah.
areas. I hate to say, but like Good Housekeeping, Woman's Way, Shape magazine, right? They've spent millions of dollars curating a cover for a magazine that they think is going to sell
Yeah.
millions of dollars worth of magazines, right? So these are generally pretty hot topics that all men and women are kind of in tune
Well,
to.
let me stop it because there's another tactic here. And I've told that it's funny because I've told this to everybody I know whenever I talk marketing. Because everyone's like, I don't know what to write about. I don't know what to write emails about. I'm like, literally just go to the grocery store,
Yeah.
look at whatever is on Women's Health magazine, and it's usually like 8 days to a sculpted butt or, the 7 fat burning foods. And I'm like, that
Yes.
is your subject line. And they're
Yes.
like, yeah, but that's so corny, or like, I don't believe in that. And it's like, make it whatever the fuck you want. But that's your subject line. That's all that
Yes.
matters because they
Yes.
know they spent the money knowing that that's going to get opened and
Huge
purchases.
money that we can't even begin to fathom.
And sometimes I'll reuse that sub like the 7 fat burning foods. And the first line is just like, man, wouldn't that be nice? But here's the real fact. Like there is no fat burning food, but there's this, and then there's content there.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, so if you do that right, and now you have this, you start writing, and people say like, "Oh my God, it sounds overwhelming. 3, 4 emails a week. It sounds like so much time." Well, it's not once you lay out, once you have the base of the information. It's
Right.
pretty simple. And look, and give people the tactics now, like, and I know me and you use it liberally, but like if you create that one pager and you put it in Chat GPT and ask it to give you a bunch of heading topics for emails and stuff like that, it will do that, right? And that's a good, I never say replace true organic marketing, heartfelt marketing, and authentic voice with
Right.
a digital bot. But that sure hell's gets it to the 20-yard line. You're in the
Listen,
red zone.
ChatGPT is the ultimate writing block buster.
No
I
question.
was just talking about it today. I was like, every time I'm like, fuck, where do I even start with this? I literally just word vomit into ChatGPT, and I'm like, there it
Yes.
is. It's always terrible. Like it spits out terrible stuff.
Yes.
Never use that for the bolt. Like it is so obvious if you're just
Yes.
using that for your content, but it will get you moving in the right direction.
Yes. Like I said, it puts you in the red zone. It doesn't score the points. You have to,
Right.
you have to, you have to doctor it up, give it your voice, give it your spin. But it definitely is a great. I use it every single day. I use it every day, and to some degree, even on the business side, like you need an SOP for
Yeah.
your business, it's in there, right? So, there's lots of great tools and tactics there. But again, long form to short form, and cut things up for the people here, like again, like Devin and I have talked about copywriting, and it's just something that we were naturally maybe drawn to, right? I used to write a lot when I was a kid. I used to keep a diary and stuff like that. So, and I've always read a lot. So I think reading and writing kind of go together as kind of one A, one B. if you're not that person who doesn't like to write, but you're good at doing videos, you're good at doing content, well, do that and just start with longer form content. So I think like for a lot of the gyms out there that are getting started, right? And everybody, you're in that X's and O's mode of wanting and trying to be the greatest coach on earth, right? And that's a great thing. You should be the first step of everybody's journey in their marketing should be your product. Your product is the marketing at first. And you should be striving to be fantastic at what you do and be a great coach. If that's the case, all you have to do then is just showcase what you're doing. Film
Yeah.
that in services for your team, do a long form video of, hey, these are 5 tools that every adult should have in their tool belt when it comes to back health, when it comes to neck health, when it comes to shoulder health, whatever it is, right? And just start spewing, man. And then you take those videos and you could give a little knock to Matty Sims. You could pay a media company like Simmons Media or anybody else, and 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 you just cut those up into multiple content pieces. So if you did a 20-minute video on 5 exercises, well, that's 5 pieces of distinct content that you could have, and you could put them out to your community as freebies for the people you already have, and or as expertise content for people that don't know you, right? It's like, oh man, this guy seems like he really's got his shit together. Maybe I want to go train there or bring my kids there or whatever the situation might be.
Listen, I'll tell you. So for anybody that's listening, if you're in that phase of running a gym where you're kind of like you're burned out from training, maybe you're letting your health slip a little bit. Here's, I'll be honest, like I've been in that mode for on and off for years where I'm not as disciplined with my diet and training as I can. My absolute best marketing comes from when I am working out because here's a writer downer: document, don't create. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Like, don't try to come up with new topics all the time. The
Mm-hmm.
best marketing that I have done lately, and it happens completely organically. So we did some challenge at the gym, and it was like some fat loss challenge, and I was like, I'm gonna do it just to kick myself in the ass a little bit. And I was just posting, like I was weighing my meals out, and there was one day I just took a photo of my food scale and what I was doing, or sorry, I took a video and I was like, hey guys, here's how I'm weighing my meals. It's like I put my meal down here and here's what it does. Here's how I plug it in. Dude, I had like 7 people message me and they're like, I finally bought a food scale because you like that video is so helpful. And I'm like, I literally was just filming myself doing what I was doing anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
If
the
you dig
best
if you dig
marketing.
back in
And it
our
happened
YouTube,
because I was just doing the shit that I was doing.
exactly.
So it really, it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah, if you look back in our YouTube, there's a bunch of old videos called Varsity Grill, right? And I love to cook, right? And a lot of the questions when I was coaching people, obviously nutrition's a big part of fitness. So a lot of the questions I got back in the early days was, how do you eat healthy? How do you make time to prep your food? Like stuff like that. Like I always feel like I never have time to prep and this, that, and the other. So like I just started filming like my Sunday prep. And we filmed like
Perfect.
6 or 7 episodes of like the Varsity Grill. And it was just me prepping. And it was so simple. And so many people to this day, I send out those Varsity Grill YouTube videos to our clientele, whoever's doing the 6 week transformation. They're one of our emails that go out internally. And it's like, hey, man, these are old. You can make fun of me all you want,
Gonna
terrible
say they're gonna
video
come in and be
quality.
like, Joe, I saw a video from your little brother.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got no beard. I was clean shaven with no white hair or nothing like that. I was like, look, this is a younger, dumber, way less audio. The audio quality and the video quality is terrible, but they're great. But everybody's response is, dude, the recipes are great. You made it look
Yeah,
so easy. You gave me hope that I can spend two. I tell people, food, you know, abs takes 2 hours a week, right? And that 2 hours is your food prep on Sunday. If
right.
you spend 2 hours thinking about your food and prepping your food, you do that. Marketing, setting up your gym for success is 2 hours a week for most gyms. Now, for a bigger gym like mine with multiple arms and stuff like that, multiple gyms, the business of strength, lots of things, it's a lot more time than that. But for most people, if you spent 2 really good hours a week on your marketing, planning it, deciding what was going to go out, having a structure, right? And that really comes down to like, again, you want to go tactic here. We're setting up the year end, 12-month calendar. What are we doing every month? What's the big internal, external initiatives? What are we doing for referrals? How are we engaging our community? Lay those things out ahead of time. Think about it: seasons, New Year, spring training, March Madness. Valentine's Day for the sweethearts, right? Summer fun, summer slim down, 6 week transformations. If you're an athlete based gym, think about it as the seasons that athletes revolve in and out of sports. Lay that all out on a calendar, get it planned out, have a schedule for your social media. My magic formula for marketing is 3 social media posts, 1 email a week, 5 handwritten cards or personal text message to clients. If you just did that every single week, the majority of gyms that are
Yeah.
listening to this that are in that 0 to, let's call it 250, 300K would crush it. But the problem is most people won't do that 3-1-5. They won't do that for 52 weeks in a year. They'll get distracted and it's like, oh shit, I forgot to send out an email for the last 6 weeks. And it's like, all right, well then your email's
Yeah.
done, dead.
Listen, the irony of the gym owner that is looking for the secret pill are usually on the marketing side are typically the ones that would never tell their clients that there was a secret pill for getting in great shape. They're like, you just got to fucking show up every day. But let's talk about, so just to give a little context, let's just use let's give both. Varsity House Gym. How
Mhm.
many leads do you guys get every week?
At VH, I mean, I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna go right to. I have my
So I'm
scorecard
asking because
sitting
I
here.
want the world to see how you track data and how easily you can access that data
Yeah,
using
I,
scorecards.
I literally have my scorecard, my marketing scorecard, on my desk every day, and I look at it every single day. So this is just so digital leads. On a weekly basis, I'm getting on a uh, so on a weekly basis, I'm looking for about um 25 leads a week.
All right,
In
so
in roughly at HQ here, I'm looking to get in the range of about 100 leads a month. Okay.
so let's talk weekly.
Okay.
Let's
So
say
about
Varsity House
25.
Gym paid leads you're getting from Facebook, Instagram, Google at all?
Paid is sometimes a little bit more. It depends on the initiative. Like some of our better months for adults will be like 20, 22, 23. Some of our better months for athletes could be 15, 18 in a week.
But what's the so I always start with the end in mind. So for the listener, always start with the end in mind. If you have a gym that you're like, I need to be plus 20 this quarter, right? I want
Yes.
to gain plus 20 members. You take out the number of members you're going to lose based on cancellations and attrition. So let's say
Yep.
you're going to lose 5 people every month. So you're like, all right, in a quarter, now I need plus 30, I need to gain 35 sales. How many leads do you need to convert 35 sales? So for you in your scorecard, how many leads is the scorecard metric for Varsity House
Roughly 100. So we
a
we
month?
know that a month. If I can get to, so you look at our, and I'm gonna use round numbers because we're just shy of 400 members here, right? So if I have 400 members and our average attrition, which has been a little bit high this year, right now we're around 7%, which admittedly is not that great. But when you look at characteristically nationally,
Everybody these
it's not
days.
that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad. Now, it's weird because in my newest gym, now part of it is because it's a new gym, but in like VH Oradell, we're at 2.5%, like month
Yeah,
over month, the last 3 months, killing it. I was like, man, if I had 2.5% here, it'd be, dancing to the bank
I know.
all day. So if I'm 7%, I'm losing 7 clients a month per 100, right? So that's
It's
28
28.
clients a
Yeah.
month, right? So to have a plus 20 month, I'd have, which we don't most months. We're like, if we have an awesome month, it's like a plus 15, right? We've had other months where
Right.
we've had more, but like our goal is plus 15. So if I know that I'm losing 28 and I got to get 15, that means I need a total, right, of 38 plus 5 is 43, right, that I got to sell. And that's roughly going to be about 100 or so leads that we're going to convert slightly less than half of them into memberships. And that's all sources. So that's digital, they're going to convert less. That's referrals, that's reactivations,
So I want
right?
to I want to stop you because this is the juice that I want to give our two listeners. So you're like, to grow to the rate that I want, which we have episodes on how to calculate that, how to build your
Mhm.
scorecard. You're like, this business needs 100 leads. Gun to your head, right? December marketing plan.
Yep.
It's Tuesday, December 3rd today.
Yep.
Gun to your head, you've got to get 100 leads in the door. What exactly are you doing? And you don't have to give the specifics in the copy, but like,
Nope.
what are you doing in each channel to guarantee that you're getting 100 leads this month? Sorry.
The first person you always got to market to is yourself, right? Second person is your team. You got to believe in the product and the process. So yesterday we had our advisory team meeting, and I'm putting the marketing tactics that I've learned and the communication tactics that I've learned to my team. We got 30 days left. We got to dial up all the notches as people are making judgments on whether or not we are the place for them in 2025 to help them win their fitness. So that's number one. And number two is, I believe in what we're doing. My team believes in what we're doing, and that makes that flows the belief onto the gym floor. So everybody's excited, right? So
All right, we got all the
I can't
soft stuff out of
I
there.
can't stress that enough.
Yeah.
Second tactic I'm running is a referral campaign all day. If you have clients, ask them to send their friends. And what we're doing right now in December is a referral competition where they can win varsity bucks towards their membership for referring their friends above and beyond what our normal
Right.
referral give is. Our normal referral give is 100 is if you refer a friend, we'll give them $100 off their first month. If they join, we'll give the referring client $100 off their next month. So it's a win-win for both of them. With the referral competition, we've just juiced that up a little bit. So if you refer 3 people, we bump it up to 400, right? If you refer 5 people, right, we're going to give you $1,500 towards your membership, right? Because the ROI on
Right.
referring 5 people is ginormous, right? The last December, we didn't have anybody hit the five client mark, but we had 4 people refer 4 clients. So that was
Wow.
12 referrals right then and there. From that, I think all in
That's
last
16,
December.
but I
I'm
think
sorry,
that's
16. Sorry. Last December, we wound up getting about 28, 29 referrals in the month of December. So
yeah.
that takes me a third of the way to my goal of 100. Then I'm going to throw some gasoline on the digital ads if you're running digital ads. And that might be in the form of more money
So
and
let's
or
stop
just
before we leave the referral thing, because this
okay.
is one that, like it sounds so sexy because referrals convert the highest rate. How do you make it at all predictable? Like, what real estate do you cover to put out a referral thing? Is it because we use a Facebook group? We've got physical real
Yes,
estate in the walls of the gym. We have an
correct.
email list. But how are you getting this messaging across? Is there a landing page? Is there one door that everybody goes through, or is it like some people call the gym, some people are dropping notes off?
The more you can reduce friction, and as one of my favorite marketers, specifically that I think flows over extremely well to the gym game, is Donald Miller. So for everybody listen,
Yeah,
here's a tactic. Go read, Business Made Simple, Marketing Made Simple, right? Story brand is a great way to think about building a story around your marketing, especially when it comes to fitness. And so the first step in the process is, we have the flyers in the gym. We have a email that went out yesterday morning. We have a post in our private Facebook group. You want to make reduced friction. We have a opt-in landing page that just says, refer your friends here, right? And we'll do the rest. So the ease of operation has to be really simple for
yeah.
people. It literally needs to be point and click,
Now
right? So
here's a little tactic, and I don't know if you guys do this, but so think about I don't know any of my fucking friends' phone numbers or
yeah,
emails. Like I got my best friend in the world, I don't know his phone number. So if I came across a link, right, because everyone's using their phone, if I came across a link and it was like, oh, refer your friends, and I had to go out, find my friend's contact, copy it, go back in and like paste it or try to remember it, I, that's a big friction point. So one of
correct.
the things that we did is we just said, and it's the way we use this Go High Level system for our CRM. The
Yes.
way it works is we made a custom field that says your name, and that's like in parentheses, like the member's name, the referring person's name, and the regular input your name field, right? So meaning, uh, if I was new, that would populate myself as a new contact.
Yes.
I changed the input field to your friend's name. So if I'm a member, I don't think this is 100% legal. I am creating a contact in my system for my friend. Now, it is just their name. Okay. So it's not their email or phone number because I want to reduce friction. I know their name. I don't know that I can go and
But it's a
copy their
conversation piece. Hey, Joe,
yes.
I saw you put your friend Mark in, you know, let me get
Can
his
you copy
contact
us on an
info.
email? Yep. Can
Yeah.
you copy us on an email? When do you want to bring them in? So think about any fucking friction point. You got the
The
landing page, you
best,
got the
the
form.
best
Yeah.
for us, the best thing that's worked for us is simply now, obviously we use Go High Level as well, and all the members here have a communication number that is basically their customer service number, right? That we have at each gym, right? That they can
Yeah.
talk to their coach or change their schedule, whatever they need to do, right? So the email and the post that goes out is all you got to do is CC. You don't have to give us anything. Just CC us on an email, CC us on a text together. We'll take it from there, right? And we try to make
Yep.
it super simple because everybody like either has the gym and or the friends, so they just on the text feed. It's like, hey, Coach Mike, this is my friend Mark. Hopefully you guys could work it out. He'd love to be a member. And it's like just to make it super simple. We've done, like you said, like referral landing pages and stuff like that. But CCing us on an email is number
Perfect.
one. CC us on a text number two, right?
Yeah. And then
And the
like
reason why I
listen,
think
for
the
God's
email is number
sakes,
one is because it's a little
if
bit less intrusive. You don't want to always be giving
yeah,
away your friends' phone numbers.
and for God's sakes, anybody listening, and I hope my team, which I know they're not, are listening. When you get the referral in your personal email or text message, put them into the motherfucking CRM.
Oh yeah.
Put them into your leads pipeline
Yes.
because if it
Yes.
just sits in your inbox, it's gone forever.
Well, that's
Um,
if we go back to tactics on referrals as a whole, right? I think one of the big issues, and you heard me talk about it at recently at the Underground Strength Con, we talked a little about referral marketing, was referrals almost unequivocally across the board. If you ask most gym owners what's their number one source of lead generation, they're going to tell you referrals. And then when I say, well, okay, great. How many referrals what's the percentage that you're trying to obtain? How many referrals do you have to get this year? And they're dumbfounded. They don't have any idea.
yeah,
And it's like, well, the first thing you need to do is create a system around referrals. And you asked me before, how do I make it predictable? I make it predictable by having great systems around referring so that I know that there's multiple levels of referral opportunities baked into the business so that they can refer at different points in time. No two humans respond the same to different types of
right.
messaging or opportunities, right? We had people last night and me and you were on the text like going back and forth trying to beat each other with the Black Friday deal, right? And but I had people opting in at 11:55, right, to buy that Black Friday deal minutes before we told them it was closing off. Now I didn't close it off. I sold three more today. Right. And I might not turn it off for the rest of the week. Right. But let Big Mike stew over it,
Yeah,
drive him crazy. Right. But the reality is that people respond to scarcity. Some people, a lot of people see that 3 for 25 deal as that's beneath me, right? And they'll sign up for a trans. I had literally people email me, "Hey, when are you doing your? I saw the Black Friday thing. When are you doing your next transformation?" And I said, "Oh, that's not until April. Why don't you just get started and take the? I'll wait for the transformation because their perception is that's a much higher level product, and it's like they'll be willing to pay $700-800 for that product, but not this product for $25, right? So you have to think about layering in different types of referral opportunities. So obviously, point of sale. Every time somebody buys, give them a gift card and an opportunity to refer a friend. Give them a card. We give them an actual card with a gift card in it. Hey, this is for you to give to a friend, family member,
yeah,
or coworker. Pay it forward, blah, blah, blah type of deal. Have buddy weeks or bring a friends built into the calendar of your marketing, whether that's once a month. We used to do it for almost a decade. We did it the first Saturday of every month. We would just have a bring a friend. And Dan and I did them all. Some Saturdays, 10, 15 people, 6, 7, 8 conversions. Some Saturdays, me and Dan sitting there with our thumbs up our ass eating a sandwich, like nobody shows up, right?
yeah.
And then referral months, February's for friends, August for amigos, December referral
Yeah,
challenge,
we can
right?
still say that.
Things like that, right? I had a guy in our business of strength. This guy, I'll give a shout out to Tom. Tom's the man. Tom and his wife Chloe have a great gym in the UK. And we gave Tom the idea of August for Amigos, and man, did he run with it. He did a video where he was wearing like a Mexican poncho, a big sombrero hat, and like the giant like Mexican fake mustache. And he's as white as a
Yeah,
Brit with a British accent. You're gonna come in for August is for Amigos, right? And I'm like, dude, like, and
and
he
that's
killed it.
so. And listen, marketing. I meant to touch on this earlier. All marketing is getting attention. Like we
Yes,
live in the attention economy,
yes,
so especially in Britain, there, in the U.S., like the Hispanic thing is like there are neighbors. It's very present. There's a lot of Mexican places, restaurants. There's a lot of taco shops.
Yes,
So in the UK, that's probably not very common for people to see a guy with a sombrero. Like he probably had to
correct.
order that from overseas. So that is marketing because he knows he's getting attention.
Yes.
But all right. So that's organic. We've got internal. We've got flyers. We got Facebook. We got a one landing page. Let's talk. Everybody wants to know: should you run paid ads?
So, I mean, we didn't run a single paid ad until 2018, I believe, 2017, right? And so, you know, for the majority of our, let's call it for the first 11, 12 years, we didn't run any paid ads as a company. And it was all organic stuff, right? And that's just a lot of hustle marketing, we'll call that, right?
Right.
And I had a list of about 8,000 people, right? So on our email list before we ever ran a digital ad. So when you think about that, like there was a lot of hustle. And again, I'll answer the question of digital ads. Should you run digital ads? But the reason why I'm setting this up is because digital ads are a band-aid, quick fix, tool. You pay for simplicity and ease, or the idea of simplicity and ease. But the reality is that they're not that easy and they're not that simple. And they take a little bit more time and energy than you think they do. And they're a little wonky and they don't always work great forever, right? So you could have great copy, like we smashed it with our launch copy and launch ads for the new gym. The second we switched those out and we finished founding memberships, our marketing has been pretty shitty since literally since June in Oradell, and we've been hovering around like very below the bar in terms of the numbers that we're trying to hit there with the amount of money I'm spending, because I'm spending more money there than I am here at HQ, and that business has got 70 members and is a quarter, not even a quarter of the size of what we're doing here, right? So, but I'm still spending an enormous amount of money to drive the juice, and we're trying to find the right message for that community. So there's a little bit more to it than a lot of people think. They think they're just going to turn on the ads, and all of a sudden it's like I'm going to turn on this fire hose.
Well, that's what all the marketing agencies are promising. Honestly,
Well,
I mean,
the
it's
reason my ads have worked, the ads are another tool in my tool belt. And I think the reason why, or let's call it one of the reasons why ads will work better for me and you versus somebody else, maybe, is because we have all the other ancillary inputs being checked off. So when somebody sees an ad, they go to Google for reviews and a great Google page for validation. They go to your website, a great converting, well brand scripted website that speaks to the pain and problems that you're trying to solve. They maybe go to your blog
right.
and see some really good copy and some ideas that resonate with them. They check out your Facebook or your Instagram page. So, very rarely, in most cases, does somebody just see an ad and go right to buying. If somebody, again, because fitness is emotional, requires habit change and lifestyle changes, they usually do a little bit of research in the process. And so if you don't have any
I'll
of the
stop you. It's not
other,
usually. It is a hundred
it's
percent
almost
of the
always
time
right.
that by the time they sit in front of you to talk to you, it is your sale to lose, and that's a sales conversation. But they
Yes.
have done the homework. They are looking for you to fuck up the close. They're looking
Well,
for a
I mean,
reason
look,
not to buy.
my whole we're doing the sales summit in January. My whole talk is based on selling through your marketing, because
Yeah,
your marketing should have people three-quarters of the way sold by the time they come to see you. Like
yeah,
they should know who you are, what products you have, and how you can help them when they sit down. And obviously, except you get like the one weirdo who just drives by, like, I think I'm going to join a gym today, brrr, like pulls into the parking
yeah.
lot, right? But the majority of people don't come through that. So the short of it is yes and no, right? You should not run ads until you have mastered the art of marketing and you understand your verbiage, right? Every business has a set of verbiage, right? To steal Donald Miller's idea, they call it a brand script, right? Every business, Nike, BMW, Engage Personal Training, Varsity House, right? Whatever it is, there's a brand script. These are the words that we're going to use to, in a sense, communicate our message to our people, right? And then we just reverberate those over and over and over again in a whole bunch of different packagings and formats. And if you don't have that straight, ads are going to be shit no matter what, because again, you're usually your copy's not good and your ads are not good. And if you just turn over your business to ad agency who doesn't understand how to write gym copy, your ads are going to flatline anyway. Once you have some money and you've built up a bank of let's call it credit, if you will, on the consistency, and you have good referral campaigns, and the referral internal referral business is kicking off clients on the regular. You have a regular email or newsletter or communication feed that goes out to clients regularly. You have external outreach, meaning you're going to community events and stuff like that. You're out in the community and the community knows who you are. Now you can pour gasoline on your business by running digital ads. And that will then, take your business to another level. I don't think many gyms from the 0 to 250K range when you're starting out as a solo entrepreneur. Now, for us, it's a little differently because we're launching,
Right.
the
We're
personal
not
training
boots
business.
on the ground.
We're not boots on the ground. The personal training businesses and they're also, these are not passion projects anymore. These are profit projects,
Yeah.
right? And there is a clear distinction there. In part of the launch budget that we're setting up, we're putting in a large portion of that budget into the marketing campaign, roughly 25 to $35,000 of the 150K that we're going to run
Right.
with, right? So for most like passion project guys, like I'm going to start a gym and I'm going to win. I'm going to be the best coach in the world, right? And you got your first 50 grand. You're going to open up a gym. You don't have 25 grand to dump on marketing. You probably spend all of it on equipment and
Right.
facility outfitting and stuff like that. So once you think the time is right and you have some consistency in your marketing and you feel like you've gotten pretty good at delivering the what we'll call the defensive side of marketing, the referrals, the reactivations, and things like that, the community stuff. You've been out in the community. Now we can go on the offensive, and that's dumping a lot of time and energy into content creation and the digital ads. Now, the digital ads, as you know, Devin, still require a decent amount of content creation.
Yeah.
Again, you look at us, we're seasoned vets. We have pretty large, successful businesses. So we have the money to buy content and media. We're a media company. I have an agency that we work with on every front. We have a social media agency, we have a digital ads agency, we have a CRM agency, right? And it's like you have all these people together, and it all costs money, and that helps me increase my speed and output of content creation. But you still have to create the content. And I'm literally getting messages from the agency today, like, "Hey, man, like all I got is talking head videos. We got to get some more client
Right.
content, blah blah blah. Like I need that ASAP, right before the end of
Well,
the year." And it's like,
so how do you know when you need, so we do, we have a cost per lead is like our, the benchmark that we set. And basically, across all my companies, just because it varies, $40 is like, if our cost per lead goes above $40 for 2 to 3 weeks, we're like, we need some fucking new creative ASAP.
correct.
But do you have like a benchmark for, you're running paid ads, you're putting how much per day, and if you're not getting X amount of leads per week, or what the cost per lead is for you to be like, shit, we got to change the copy, we got to change the creative.
Generally speaking, it's similar to yours. So for Varsity House HQ here, right about $40 a lead. Now, and as a whole, when we're launching, because of the amount of money we're spending, we're getting $20 leads,
Yep.
$15 leads, and they're super, but we're spending, $200 a day, $250 a day on ads. So
Yep.
it's expensive, right? And so, but as a benchmark, right about $40 a day. I'll let that stretch up to 50 if I'm still trickling in the leads, right? As long as the leads are there, I'll let it run.
Yeah.
But that is a strong indicator. The increase in cost per lead is a strong indicator that the copy's dying out and getting old, right? And as a general rule, if you want to just again, if you're somebody like myself who likes to just have it black and white, I try to create a new piece of content or a new set of content every single month
Yeah.
so that my media team has new content every month. So whether that's a photo shoot in the gym for client content or it's a variety of things that we use here, which is like our Slack feed. So all of our coaches are responsible for getting at least one piece of content a week, posting it in our Slack feed. Our digital media teams have access to that feed. They pull from that. That's everything from like this was my first workout to this is my 1,000th session
Yeah.
to this is our client of the month to just a video of a couple kids training and working out and having a good time, you know, to myself sitting down. Now I have 4 hours a week that I dedicate just to video creation and speaking and doing videos. So every Friday I do a whole bunch of content. So I did like, again, not talking about the business, but we're talking about the business of strength, but the same idea applies. But like this past Friday, on Black Friday, I spent about 3 hours in the morning while I was home when my family was still sleeping, and I did a whole bunch of like short little content videos for the sales summit coming up. And it's like, talking heads, solving problems. And what our media team will do, they'll take the voice overlay and maybe some of the content or some pictures of me talking, and they'll overlay that onto B-reel footage of our events, our seminars, people high-fiving and sitting at the desk taking notes and stuff like that. And it's obviously this is for the business consulting. In the gym, you talk about how people can win their fitness in the new year, overlay that with some fun videos of people training, people holding up their, this is my favorite gym or my 100th workout, or I just lost my first 10 pounds, whatever those milestones might be for you. And you create a really great 30-second, 60-second content piece out of that. And you can do that over and over and over again. But again, you have to, and on that same respect is try different sets, try speaking to different demographics specifically, right? So don't just be like, hey, come get fit for New Year. It's like, hey, I'm looking for 10 men and women or
Yeah.
10 women over 40 to win their fitness in the new year. I'm looking for 10 kids. I'm looking for 10 high school athletes that want to dominate their sports this spring, right? Speak specifically to certain segments of your demographic.
Yeah, and that's another great use for ChatGPT and AI. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like give me 20 call outs that I can do with a video ad for this demographic. That's a great tool. So uh what would a waste of money be for a gym owner? Maybe not starting out, but gym owner that's cruising along, they want to grow, what would a waste of marketing money be?
A waste of marketing money is probably, I hate to say print ad is dead, but like just putting ads in the newspaper, that's probably not going to get your gym too much business,
Listen, I can
right?
tell you print ad is not doing well. It's not doing
Yeah.
too hot.
No, it's not.
we
It's
did
not.
a
Now,
we just did a mailer, and I was like, because we just launched our eighth location, and I saw this PDF. It was called "For Butt Ugly Postcards," and the whole concept was like, don't make it look good, like make it super ugly, like all one color, like bright color, super clunky font. Just make it like super amateur hour, and but make the offer like insane. The cool thing about print marketing is there are no rules about what you can say.
no.
I mean, there's no Facebook, flagging you for before and afters. So I put like something just outrageous. It was like the 21 day over 50 women's fix, like lose 1,000,000 pounds in 21 days. And I sent it to 2,000 homes that were making over $1 million. Sorry, no, over $1 million homes in my 5 mile radius.
Yep.
2,000 postcards went out. We got one person to submit contact information. Now, this was $2,000. It cost me about over 2 grand to do this campaign for 2,000 postcards. We got one person to send contact info. They never converted. So that's just
Well,
one. Again, that's one test.
and I think print ads are hard for gyms, but again, we go back to the emotional side of it. When people hear me speak, they hear my conviction. They hear my passion. Like, hey man, I've been doing this for 30 years. I helped my mom at 72 years old lose 125 pounds. Our oldest client is my favorite guy, Hugh. He's 76 years old, and him and his wife are in here every day winning their fitness. I can help you do it too, right? And it's like
Right.
that comes off so differently than just getting a postcard in the mail. And again,
Right.
the likelihood that somebody's going to see this postcard, be so inspired that now they're going to change their entire habit sets to come to your gym is very low. Now,
Yeah.
is it possible? We've had a little bit more success. If there's one tactic for print ads, it's the new home buyer. Like
Yeah.
I get a list of new home buyers in a couple of the communities that we're in, and I send them a welcome packet, and that welcome packet has a letter that's welcome to the community. One of the best, we're so excited to have you. One of the best, hardest parts about moving to a new community is making great new friends, right? One of the best places to do that is come join a gym where you get fit and meet great community members, right? And we give them a free month, right? So the
Yeah.
offer is really strong too, right? And that's done, like I said, out of all the print ads we've done, we've had the most from that. But we're talking about in the totality of 3 years of doing it, maybe 10 clients total.
So let me because I have a funny story about print ads. So I fucking romanticize about print digital, or sorry, I'm gonna say direct mail
Me too.
working. I wanted to work so bad. So I bought this book, and it was called Outrageous Direct Mail Marketing. And it was by Robert Glazer. the Dan Kennedy guy.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I found this campaign and I was like, this is it. This is the one that's going to work. And I sent, it was 500 homes, and these were former clients. So 500 homes, or people in my mind body database, 500
Yes,
homes. I
sir.
sent one letter that was like, just a regular, like, hey, love to see you back in the gym. Nothing too crazy about it, except they call it the coffee stain mailer, where I put a fake coffee stain on the envelope on the back,
I
and
love that
I
shit.
hand wrote 500 of these. It said, sorry. It was like, sorry, this was my last envelope. I just wanted to make sure you got it. A week later, same amount of homes. I had these little wooden coins. You can Google these, that are little wood chips like you buy at a bar when you buy a round, and it has the letters TUIT on it. So to it. And the letter was, hey, I know you said you wanted to get back in the gym once you got around to it. So here's a round to it. So it was a round TUIT. It was a little chip that said to it. And I was like, now you've got around to it. Come back to the gym, scan this code.
That's pretty cool.
The third week, I had I bought an Amazon giant bag of little tiny plastic bugs, and I filled envelopes with like two or three little bugs, and it said a letter that said, sorry to bug you. This is my last chance to invite you back to the gym. Guess how many people that got back into the gym?
I'm gonna go with
Zero.
zero.
Big old
I'm gonna go
fucking
with zero.
zero.
I
Dude,
love the fucking creativity though.
I
Like I'm getting
spent
excited. I got like
I
goosebumps there. I'm like, bro, that's so awesome.
I was so fired. I was like, this is the one. This is what's gonna do it. I did it because that took over a month. Like the planning, the buying all the shit, fucking the coffee stands on every envelope. Like I literally had I had a fucking coffee mug that I was stamping on envelopes, and then
With
I had to hand
coffee
write the
and
things,
envelopes.
dude. So fuck direct mail.
Yeah, direct mail
Fuck
for gyms is hard,
things
man.
like
It's just
Clipper magazines. Do not
no,
do
no,
Clipper
no.
magazines. Don't
It's
fucking put
different.
on
You're
the
not selling
diner
power washing for
placemats.
your home. Power
Right.
washing for your we have a big power washer here. He's one of our like favorite and best clients, been with us for a million years. Got a big power washing business, right? He makes a fortune on direct mailers because it's simply like, oh shit, yeah, I want to get my fence clean. Done.
Yeah.
It's like there's no emotion and
Right.
have nobody's got a habit set. Nobody has to go, fuck, man. I don't need nobody telling me that like I shouldn't be drinking a bottle of wine every Tuesday. Like that's I don't need nobody telling me that shit.
Yeah, it's like going to therapy. Like you're not gonna,
Yeah,
go to therapy because you got a letter in the mail about it. So, all
correct,
right, so let's
correct.
put a bow on gym marketing. So you go all in on content. Tell the
Yes.
brand story, speak the language, connect deeply to your audience. Start with that big piece of content like a video, blog. Maybe it's some kind of case study or article. Have the hub and spoke funnel
Yep.
tons of micro pieces to that. Have a great offer a friction free door that they can walk through. Then you go referrals, litter your gym with flyers, put shit out there, have your coaches talking about it, have a
Hmm.
form that's very easy for them to fill out. Paid ads are the last kind of thing, because if you can't do that, you're not going to convert paid ads. Let's be
No,
real.
no.
If you're not connecting with people in any other fashion, paid ads are not going to solve your problem, and you're going to spend a lot more money.
Yes.
Uh, if somebody did want to go the paid ad route, how
Mhm.
much money do you think they should spend per day on Facebook, for example?
I mean, like we've toyed with so many different variables in terms of ad spend, but I would say for the majority of gyms, it's quite a bit more than what they think they need to spend. So, we in our business consulting, group, I have a lot of gym owners who see what we're doing and they get excited and they run their own ads to the tune of like 10,
Ten
20,
dollars a day
yeah, $10 a day, $20, even $20 a day, and they don't get a lot of traction.
doesn't
And the
work.
reality is right now, like just to give you an example, like I'm spending 500 I was spending up until open enrollment, which is we've dumped more money into, which are athlete open enrollment. I was spending $500 a month specifically just as evergreen athlete awareness marketing. And here's the exact number of digital leads that I got in October and November until we added another $1,000 to that for open enrollment. These are week by week. 3, 5, 4, 2, 4, 7, 6, 3.
So
Right?
I think you might have misspoke. You said $500 a week.
No, five. I'm sorry. Yeah, 500 a month. 500 a month.
Okay,
Right. So very minimal amount of money
right.
But to somebody who's a brand new starter, they might be like, well, that's a lot of money to be spending. And that doesn't include ads management, which I pay a management fee to the company. Now, if you're doing them yourself, I'm just telling you, you just pissed your money away because most people do not have the technical ability to run their own ads. So, in my opinion, the minimum spend you have to be ready for is $1,000 in ad spend plus whatever management fees you're
Right.
going to incur. So, in the real reality of running digital ads, you're looking at probably somewhere in the realm of 1,500 to $2,500 a month
That's a really
in
good,
in
yeah.
in ad spend, right? To start. Now, if you look at like our business now, I'm spending 100K a year
Right.
on
Easily.
digital marketing. Now, I am looking at ways to reduce some of those costs because like anything, it's kind of like it's like the shitty subscriptions that they all sold us on for TV 3 years ago. And now I'm trying to find fucking Frosty the Snowman for my kid. We're decorating the
Yeah.
tree. He wanted to watch Frosty the Snowman. And every fucking channel, I gotta pay for the plus subscription.
Yeah.
So I have Peacock that I pay $15 a month for, but I have fucking Peacock Plus, right? And you got to pay $25 a month for Peacock Plus, and you get everything. The same thing, HBO Plus, like Max times two or whatever the fuck they call it, right?
You sound like such a
Oh,
grumpy old
dude,
fart.
well, I mean, when you add up all your shit, but the same thing
Yeah,
happens
no.
with your business, right? And all of a
Yep.
sudden you start going down the digital ads road. Now I got an agency. Now I got a social media company. Now I'm paying, I look at my bill at Active Campaign, which is our email delivery service, for $700 a month. I look at like, you start looking at all your tech because again, and that doesn't include text, right? So
No.
when people say digital ads, if you start texting people as part of your marketing campaigns, that's a completely separate added fee. Our text bill last month was $800. That's not nothing to most
No, not
businesses,
at
right?
all.
So all these things, all of a sudden, they start to really pile up. So before you break the seal, it's like cracking the seal. It's like taking
Yeah.
your first piss at a night out drinking beers, right? Once you crack the seal, you're peeing all night, right?
Right.
Once you crack the seal on digital ads, it is a deep, dark rabbit hole that you can go down.
Yeah, because it's one thing to like, you're like, I'm gonna boost this post, which I don't even know if it's still a thing. It's like I'm gonna
I don't
boost
even
this
know.
post, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta use the ads manager, and then it's like, then I need an ads agency, and then the ad agency is
Yeah.
like, you need a professional camera to shoot your like. It all just keeps spiraling.
I mean,
So
look, I mean, we're doing a podcast. You
yeah,
were just showing me all your fun new toys. I got a brand new HD camera. I got the new, $300, ear things. I got this new digital, same thing, a little mixer thing we got here. And it's like, it starts to compound. So, again, great marketing is having a lot of really good messaging out in the Ethernet so that again for people that are
right,
going to respond to text, email, digital, whatever it is, right? Because people are all into different shit, right? You got old school disgruntled motherfuckers like me who maybe like I'm going to respond the quickest and easiest to an email or a text message. You got younger people who are glued to their phones and glued to their social media. They might see a social media content and they start following you and they really like what you got. And it's like that might be drive them to your thing, right? So you have to have a really good website. And if there's a couple things to leave people with that are just like really tactical, right? One, spend some time with your brand script. Look up Donald Miller, look up, Jay Abraham, look up a bunch of, there's
yeah,
great Seth Godin. There's tons of guys out there, right? And you look up get some great marketing, but get your verbiage down. Create a sales packet for your business. Who, what, where, when, why. Now, this is who we are, the products we sell, what we sell, the problems we solve, how we solve them, why they need to be solved, all that kind of shit. Get it out in a couple pieces of paper. Then, right, create your marketing calendar. What am I doing every month, 12 months a year? Discern that down to a weekly action plan. I have to get this done every single week, right? And get that out and done. Then it's, you know, I look at that as a totality. Have I done this thing for a long period of time and has it worked well? And then we can start to move down the rabbit hole of digital ads and just kind of compounding the interest that I built. But you have to have a good converting website. If your website is like pictures of you and your name and brand logo right across the center of the page, it's not a good website. It's not going to convert. Like you have to have the problem you solve straight in front of people, right? So again, when people join our consulting group, I always do a website wireframe for them and like kind of break down their website.
yeah,
And almost all the websites, it's the giant company logo right in the center
yeah.
of the field when I pull it up. It's like engage personal training. It's like, all right, well,
Nobody
that's
gives
cool,
a
but it
shit.
doesn't,
Yeah,
Yeah. No one gives a shit about that. It's like, helping clients win their fitness for lifelong, improve lifelong health or whatever, whatever your slogan might be, right? But you have to have that right in front of them, your headline, if you will. So those things totality. Then again, when I do finally hit the go button on digital ads, there's all these different components that people can check in on. Another one would be the my Google page. I can't believe how many gym owners I tell, let me see your my Google page, and they're like, oh, I haven't even looked at it in like 3 years. I was
I
like,
mean, the
well,
search engine that every single person in the world uses every single day.
I mean, literally one of the wealthiest, biggest companies on planet Earth that 4 billion people a day are on. And it's like, yes, no, that needs to be kind of important. And even me, like for the new gym for Oradell, I'm like, man, I haven't updated those pictures in like probably like a month or two. I
Oh,
better get
dude,
on
and let me
there.
tell you, shit breaks. Like, so I actually a month ago, I built a whole marketing audit system. And part of it is like, I'm going to click on all the links on my site. I'm going to click on all the Google, everything on my Google. I'm like, oh shit, there's this book now button on my Google. And I'm like, oh shit, like this doesn't even go anywhere. One of the phone
Oh,
numbers that was listed on my Google was like just a placeholder that we used when we were launching the gym and we didn't have a phone system. I'm like, oh shit. So stuff breaks. I think every month I have my marketing girl do this now. It's like do a full blown audit. Click every link on your site. Make sure
Chris.
every form is functional. Go to your Google, click on every little thing. Really step into the shoes of your target market and think like, if I was this 55-year-old, stay at home mom that wanted to get in shape, like, is this who I'm going to?
Yeah, people need no excuse
Yeah.
to throw their hands up. Like, I don't know what these
I
fucking people are
tried, I
trying to
tried, it
sell.
didn't
Yeah,
work out.
yeah,
The
yeah. It
website
didn't
didn't
work
even
out. Done.
work.
Done. It's like literally instantaneous now. Nobody has any pain. Now here, I mean, maybe it's a little bit better where you are. You're a little bit further, right? But like here in North Jersey, it's like fuck you, this fucking
Well,
website
dude, and
piece
we
of shit.
get, I get frustrated because every now and again we'll get, because we have 8 locations. Our facility leaders are not the owners, so sometimes they don't like take care of every little nuance like
Yeah.
that I would if it was my gym. And we'll get a comment on our ad like, I reached out a week ago and I never heard back. And sometimes it just the message never reached us because there was something that was broken, or it was just it fucking slipped through the cracks. And
Mhm.
I get frustrated because I'm like, for every one person that takes the time to comment on the ad, how many people reached out, never got hurt, never got followed up with that went
Mhm.
somewhere else? Like, you've
Yeah.
got to button up those, like, make sure every entry point is locked down and then check it every 2 to 3 months to make sure nothing broke.
Yeah, you should be looking at your ads too, because people do comment on them, right? And it's just they might not opt in, but some people, again, for whatever reason, they don't
Reply to
opt
them,
in.
engage with them.
But exactly, but they comment like, "What's the price?" or something like that, right? Message them and say, "Hey, look, you can come in, blah blah blah. Let me tell you about our membership fees. We have this, and this, blah blah blah." But that goes, unchecked a lot. And I think like, you know, the one piece of digital that I would absolutely recommend though is a CRM. You got to have a
Yeah,
CRM.
100%.
You got to have a digital hub. The days of like, once you get past your first like 25 clients, right? And you're writing people down on pen and paper and shit, like you got to have a digital hub. And that's so your leads don't get lost and that you can build some
Right.
automation and you can build a client lifecycle and all that shit is once you pay for your CRM, the other stuff like creating a cool like client lifecycle drip of content is easy. And then because
Right.
every time you just get a new client and they get one in the CRM, it just kicks off. Think of all the basic stuff that you need to educate your clients on. You could get that sent to them automatically over the first like 3 months of their journey. It's like the welcome email, nutrition packet, food logs, have you come in for a tune up? When was the last time you did a weigh in? Let's get you on the in body scale, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you could just have all those things set up in your CRM. And that makes it that is marketing, right? That is because you need to market internally to your people constantly. We get stuck on thinking about getting those new shiny clients from the outside world, right? But we already have people in here paying money. And you
Right.
can't forget about them either. So there needs to be cool shit for them to have too, like cool new products, new services, new, whether it's digital packets and stuff like that. Like we're always trying to find something that we can like, we do the big calendars here. So like one of our like year starting, like one of our year end / New Year's tactics is we call it goals one, we give everybody one of those big ass calendars that of 2025. They get a
Yeah.
huge, like it's like a 2 by 3 foot calendar that they can kind of visualize their year on. I do a goal setting and accountability webinar that will kick off like mid-January, and I'll do that as like a Zoom call where we'll invite our entire community. It's also a referral ploy. Hey, bring if you
Right.
got friends who need some help, everybody's welcome. It's a free webinar. Hop on, let's have some fun. Sit down for an hour with Uncle Joe and we'll plan out our year, right? And we'll have a good time. And I'll give them some basic tips and tools that I've used with myself and other clients for the last 28 years of doing this. And and that's a great ploy that, but it's a give back to them. Right now we're doing our holiday challenge, which is basically just an internal play. We don't market it at all. It's just for our members.
Yep.
And it's a 21 day, like, beat the bulge. We call it Holiday
No,
Strong.
good
It's a
fat.
21,
Yeah.
yeah, 21 day accountability program. They got a checklist. They got an icon, which is basically the accountability checklist that goes on their refrigerator, right? And I literally say, I want to see this. I want you to
Yeah.
take a picture and send it to me. I want to see it on your refrigerator, right? They get a script of a couple things. I do a live feed every Friday on our Facebook Live and our internal members feed once a week for 3 weeks, and it's just a fun add value. I think we have about 60, I think 67 people doing the program,
That's
right?
awesome.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. And it's just look, out of all those 67 people, if 5 people go home and say, "Man, I got the best fucking gym in the
Well, and
world.
you
I
can
love that place."
guarantee that during that they're not leaving. They're not going to cancel. So
Right,
it's a
right.
retention play too. So
It's a retention pay, and they go home. Maybe they're sitting there maybe they're having a dinner party. They're having a holiday cocktail party with some of their friends, and they see the accountability tracker on the refrigerator. And they're like, "What the hell's that?" Oh, that's my gym. Every December they give us out this thing so we could
yeah.
stay on track. During the holiday season. Oh, that's so cool. My Orange Theory doesn't do none of that shit for me. My F45 doesn't do none of that shit for me. So you try to beat the status quo with your marketing. And we've heard the term. I can't believe my gym has done that for me.
Yeah.
That's what you're trying to exceed the expectation in your marketing. If you can do that in your marketing, you already create the perception of excellence in your business.
Right.
As the book, like Robert Cialdini's book, Persuasion, you have, in a sense, pre-sold them into the idea that you have the right product and services to help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, man, I can see Dan Goodman in the background waving this call, waving this plane down to the landing. Uh, so what happens when you get two visionary marketing geeks together for a
Oh, we
30-minute
go.
podcast? We go an hour. So hour and a half maybe. But where should people go to reach out? I mean, Business to Strength, unbelievable coaching group. I've had the pleasure of attending events and speaking
Thank
at
you.
events. They do a fucking phenomenal job meeting the gym owners where they're at, helping them structure, where they go. Thing that I like about Business Strength, it's not a fucking cheesy, like, cookie cutter, like you got to do this campaign, you got to do this 6 week challenge. Like a lot of these coaching groups are built on one campaign, right? These guys have built real businesses that have stood the test of time. And that's what they're teaching you guys how to build. I've seen a lot of masterminds and coaching groups like fizzle out where everybody goes out of business because that one play that their
Didn't
coach
work.
had,
Yeah.
and the coach doesn't have a gym anymore because now they coach others how to do the thing that their gym at one time had. So Business to Strength is a really good resource to look into. So
Yeah, you can go to businessstrength.com. If you want to connect with me, probably the best place for me is Instagram, just Coach Joe Strong. And you could shoot me an email, check out our content there. And obviously if you come to the Instagram page, Business of Strength, businessofstrength.com, Varsity House, you'll find all of us in our content. The majority of things kind of link back. But if you go to my business page, I'm pretty open and honest. I have a free booking link in there, so anybody could book a free strategy call. You could go to there, go to Coach Joe Strong on Instagram. You go to my link tree there. There's a free booking link in there. You could book a free strategy call. Let me know how I can help you grow your gym and get some clarity on, whatever it is that you're hitting a roadblock on. Just to thank you for mentioning the Business of Strength. I do think one of the things that separated us from a lot of other coaching groups is that it's actual like one-on-one and small group coaching where it's not just like here's these digital assets that you get and
yeah,
go at it, everybody. It's we do a live onboarding, a live SWOT analysis. We do an actual each gym gets a fully detailed individual growth plan. and I hold you to the fire. And it's like, Devin, you said you were going to get that shit done, and it's not in my folder. Where is that shit? And it's a weekly, bi-weekly calls with us. So that's separate. It does mean that the group is smaller and a little bit more intensive. But that's how we like it because we really want it to be impactful. So I'd rather have less people where we're doing
Right.
deep work as opposed to just be like, here, run these 50 plays. And it's just a whole bunch of, I've gotten a lot of groups where you just get like a giant like folder deck of like digital
Yeah.
assets and you get lost in a sea of shit. And I feel like
Here's
I'm
your
more
Christmas
confused
play.
sometimes.
Here's
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Here's your bring a friend packet, and it
Now,
just throws
now I
shit at a
just have
wall.
more ideas, and I think Hermosi's been saying this a lot. You don't need more ideas; you need to take more action, and that's I
Yeah.
think where our group comes in.
Yeah, he learned that from you. Well, Joe, thank you so much, man. This is
Thanks,
going to
brother.
make a great episode, help a lot of people. I appreciate your time.
You're the man, dude.
Later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this content, make sure that you like and subscribe to get more of the content that you want to see about growing your fitness business. You can click any of the videos here to see other episodes, but I want to hear from you. So drop some comments into other content that you would like to see.